Hey guys, Aaron from the Ballpit here, back with another episode of the Writer's Block. Today I wanted to talk about some new news coming from Warner Bros. Studios. So I'm sure many of you heard a couple months ago that Warner Bros. Had made a Coyote versus Acme movie, which is based in the Looney Tunes universe with Wile E. Coyote, Roadrunner, Bugs Bunny, etc., etc. And they, for whatever reason, maybe they weren't satisfied with the product, maybe they just didn't think it was going to make money, they decided to delete the movie and instead, write it off on their taxes so they can get some money back, use it as a tax write-off. And that was met with a lot of backlash, and rightfully so, as a lot of people were upset that the created product of a lot of different people, voiceover people, animators, writers, etc., is basically just going to go to the recycling bin of some executive's computer because they didn't feel like, putting it out. They didn't feel like taking the risk or whatever else. So Warner Bros., they opened it up for other studios to potentially buy the movie from them. And they did get offers from some studios who were interested in buying the film. Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Paramount, to name a few of the big ones, were willing to kind of enter talks with Warner Brothers to see what, could potentially be done about them purchasing the film. However, Warner Bros. Said that they wanted between 75 to 80 million for the film, which cost them 70 million to make, and that they gave that offer and refused a counter offer of any kind from Netflix, Amazon, Paramount. They said, "This is what we're doing. Go from there." And even when I believe it was Paramount actually was gonna go around that amount, they said no and did not allow for a secondary counter offer or anything else. So, they took those offers. Well, they took those offers. And when nothing came from them, they are now going to move forward with deleting the movie. And there's a couple extra bits that really hurts us a little more. And I'll get into totally my opinion on this fact at the end. I just want to give you a little bit more information. The first of which is that the executives that are deciding to delete the movie haven't actually seen the movie. So 3 of the executives that are actually involved in the decision, one of them has not seen any amount of the film at all. And the other 2 only saw a director's cut very early on in the creative process, in the editing process. So none of the execs that are actually involved in this decision have seen the final product. And then another part that really, confuses me in a lot of ways is that a lot of the audiences that they screened to actually watch the film rated it really highly. It had really good reviews coming out of those test screenings and everything else, and it really just makes you wonder, why are they deleting the film? So that's kind of all the facts of the situation. And now we're going to get into my opinion on it, right? I think it's completely disgusting that we live in such a society where creatives can spend months to year and some change, whatever amount of time, can spend such a large amount of time working on something, a piece of art, a creation, for somebody to just delete it from the world for monetary reasons. I think that's disgusting. I think if you are going to delete a film for tax write-off purposes, it should automatically be released and become public domain because, in a sense, the people are paying for this film. If you're taking it as a tax write-off, this now exists as money you do not need to pay in taxes or whatever else. It's money being given for the studio in exchange for this, and it's money that's not going towards taxes, meaning that the people are the ones who are essentially footing the bill for this. And as such, I think the people should be given the movie. I mean, and The real question is what negative exists in this relationship. The studio still gets the money for the tax write-off. And so why would they care what happens with the movie, right? Why should it have to be deleted, right? It should just be released and become, public domain. Anybody can watch it for free. Doesn't hurt anybody, right? And it might actually look better on Warner Bros. Because they're actually allowing the film to be watched, which is what a lot of people actually want. But, they're probably not going to do that. They're probably not going to do that because, it's my opinion that a lot of these execs don't actually care about art or film or anything else, entertainment. All they care about is the bottom line. All they care about is the money. And, as sad as that fact is, I think we have to come to the realization that that's our reality. We live in a reality where the people in charge of what happens to art don't care about what happens to art. They care about the results. They care about what that art brings them. And in a lot of ways, they're not working there to create and help direct and help with the process of creating good art for the sake of doing so. They are interested in creating something that makes them a lot of money. And it doesn't matter whose toes they step on, whose dreams they crush, and whose art they delete. To get there, they want to get there. And so at this point, what can you do, right? Well, I saw on Twitter that I believe it's like the animation union in a lot of ways. So let me see what it is. But it's essentially like the in the same way that the actors or whatever else went on strike a little while ago, and the writers, I think animators, their contract is coming up. And if that's the case, then, we can support them through that process in the same way that we supported the writers and the actors in their strike to hopefully get more rights and everything else for animators to make obviously their job better and hopefully help prevent this in the future. I also think that this is in a lot of ways due to the streaming model of movie release and TV release being popularized. And I've talked in many writer's block videos about the dangers that the modern streaming era will have on the creation of good art. And this is a primary example. And we need to raise awareness and be outraged about this happening, because that's the only way they'll do anything. The only way for you to make change in such a widespread area with these kinds of people is to affect their monetary gain. If you impact their bottom line, they're going to be willing to make a change because that's what they care about. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, let's boycott Warner Bros. Because I don't have that type of clout. I don't have that type of power. But it's something that should be thought about. And also, hypothetically, right? Hypothetically, if this movie was leaked, it wouldn't be a huge issue because nobody owns the film anymore. It's going to be deleted anyways. And so it wouldn't be like a huge issue if it got leaked. Obviously, I'm not calling for anybody to leak it. That would be wrong. That would be bad. But hypothetically, if it did happen, it wouldn't actually hurt anybody and allow people to watch the movie, which would probably be a decent thing. But again, don't leak it because that's bad. It's the same energy as people who work in like a bakery like setting or like a restaurant like setting when food is about to be thrown out or whatever else, perfectly good food, untouched food getting thrown out, and they steal it to give to people who would actually eat the food or need the food. Obviously don't do that at your workplace because that's bad. But when it happens, it's a good thing. Obviously, doing it isn't, but the results of such are ultimately good. And that's where I'm going to end today. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of the Writer's Block. Obviously, somewhere on the screen really soon should be a playlist of all the Writer's Block videos. A lot of different stuff on there, a lot of different types of things on there. Maybe you'll find something you like, maybe you won't. I don't know, but check it out. Support the channel, whatever else. That's all I got for you. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m. Try to post all the time at 2 p.m. So I'll see you at 2 p.m. in the future.